My parents yelled, "You're worthless. We're leaving the house to your sister." I said okay and left, but a year later they crawled to me. "We're being evicted. Help!" I just shut the door in their faces. I never thought I'd be writing one of these posts, but here I am at 2 a.m., still processing what just went down at my parents' house. Fair warning, this is going to be a long one. For context, I'm Corey, 25 meters, and I've got a sister Maya, 28 feet, who's always been the golden child. Growing up, everything I did was somehow wrong, while Maya could do no wrong. I dropped out of college to start working, not because I was failing, but because I saw an opportunity to learn a trade and start making real money. My parents never let me forget what a disappointment that decision was. Last night started normal enough. Mom texted asking me to come over for dinner, saying they had important family matters to discuss. Should have known something was up when Maya's BMW was already parked in the driveway when I pulled up in my work truck. The tension hit as soon as I walked in. Maya was sitting there with this smug look I've known since childhood, while Mom and Dad had that fake serious expression they get when they're about to lay down some wisdom. Dinner was quiet, just the scraping of forks and Maya making snippy comments about my dirty work clothes. Sorry for coming straight from a job, I guess. Then Dad cleared his throat and dropped the bomb. "We've been thinking about the future," he started, not even looking at me. "About our legacy and who we can trust to handle it responsibly." I kept eating my meatloaf, already knowing where this was heading. "Maya has proven herself," Mom chimed in. "She's responsible, successful, knows how to handle money properly." Each word felt like a dig at me. "We've decided to make some changes to our will. The house, our savings, everything will go to Maya." Maya's face lit up like Christmas morning. "It's for the best, little brother. We all know you just wasted on your projects." The way she said it made my decade of hard work sound like a kid's hobby. I set down my fork. "And what about me?" Dad exploded. "What about you? What have you done to deserve anything? No degree, no real career, just manual labor like some—" He waved his hand dismissively. "You're worthless to this family's future." The kitchen went dead silent. Maya's smirk got wider. "Here, quote, A's the thing. 10 years ago that would have crushed me. But I've built something for myself. I've got my own business now, contracts lined up, and a crew that respects me." I looked at my calloused hands, then at Maya's manicured nails, and something just clicked. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. Okay. Mom looked confused. "That's all you have to say?" "Yeah, okay. You want Maya to have everything? Fine. But remember this moment." I looked each of them in the eye. "Remember you chose this." Maya laughed. "Are you trying to be dramatic? What are you going to do, go sulk in your truck?" I grabbed my key. "No, Maya, I'm going to show you exactly how worthless I am. You want everything? Congratulations, it's all yours." Including their problems. Dad started yelling about respect. Mom was crying about family duty, and Maya was making some comment about me being jealous. I just walked out, got in my truck, and drove away. Blocked their numbers before I hit the highway. That was 3 months ago. Since then, my phone's been blowing up with messages from flying monkeys, aunts, uncles, family friends, all telling me how I need to make peace and think about your poor parents. Yesterday I got a voicemail from Mom. They're in trouble. Big trouble. Turns out Maya isn't as responsible as they thought. I saved that voicemail. Something tells me I'm going to want to remember exactly how they sound when they're begging for help. If there's interest, I'll update when the inevitable explosion happens. Right now, I'm just focused on expanding my business and watching karma do its thing. Update 1. It's been about 8 months since my last post about my parents declaring me worthless and leaving everything to my sister Maya. A lot has happened. And honestly, I'm still processing it all. So last Tuesday, I'm having coffee at this small diner I always go to before work, scrolling through my phone when I get this wall of text from my mum. I almost choked on my coffee when I read it. Apparently they're being evicted from their house. The same house I grew up in. The one they promised to Maya. The message was full of, "We made a terrible mistake, and you were always the responsible one, and please help us. We don't know what to do." I ignore. 10 minutes later, my dad started calling, then Maya, then my mum again. I blocked them all and finished my coffee. But curiosity got the better of me, so I did some digging. Turns out Maya convinced them to refinance the house to invest in some amazing real estate opportunity she had. Lined up, she promised to triple their money in 6 months. Yeah, you can guess how that worked out. The market took a dive, and Maya lost everything. Their money, her client's money. The whole thing. Now the bank is foreclosing on my parents' house. The best part, while I was at the diner, Maya showed up. Just walked right in like she owned the place. She was wearing those fake designer sunglasses she loves so much, trying to look all important. "Corey." "You have to help them," she said, sliding into my booth uninvited. "They're your parents. Like I'm their worthless son?" "Oh my God, are you still hung up on that? Grow up, they made a mistake. We all make mistakes." I looked at her dead in the eyes. "You're right. They did make a mistake. Several, actually. Trusting you was their biggest one." She started crying, the fake kind, with perfectly falling tears that don't mess up her makeup. "They'll be homeless, Corey. Is that what you want? To see your own parents on the street?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots I'd saved from last year. The family group chat where they all ganged up on me. The messages calling me worthless. Her own texts bragging about getting the house. "You know what's funny, Maya? While you were playing real estate mogul with their retirement, I was actually learning the business. Legitimately. I know exactly how much their house is worth. I know about the liens. I know about the foreclosure auction next month." Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about karma, sis. I've got the cash to buy that house at auction. And guess what? I'm going to..." She exploded, started screaming right there in the diner about how I was a vindictive asshole, how family should help family, how I was destroying our parents' lives. The manager had to ask her to leave. Later that day, my parents showed up at my apartment. Dad was red-faced, yelling about how I was no son of his. Mum was crying, begging me to reconsider. I just stood there, letting them vent. Finally, Dad ran out of steam. In the silence, I said, "Remember when you told me I'd never amount to anything? That I was worthless compared to Maya? Well, look at us now. I'm the one with savings. I'm the one who can afford to buy your house." Funny how life works out, isn't it? Mom tried to hug me. I stepped back. "I'll see you at the auction," I said, and closed the door. The auction is in 3 weeks. I've already got my financing lined up. Maya's been spreading rumors about me and the family, saying I'm heartless, that I'm destroying our parents out of spite. Maybe she's right about the spite part, but you know what? I'm done being the bigger person. They quote, still blowing up my phone. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone's got an opinion. Most are on their side saying I should help. A few get it though. My cousin Stephen called yesterday and said, it's about time someone stood up to them. The best part? Maya's amazing investment scheme is falling apart. Turns out she wasn't just playing with our parents' money. Other clients are starting to ask questions. Her broker license is under review. Karma really is something. I know buying their house might seem cold. But after everything, the years of favoritism, the insults, the manipulation, I just want them to understand what they threw away. I'm not their worthless son anymore. I'm the guy who's going to own their house. Will. Update after the auction. Maya's already threatening to expose me. Whatever that means. Should be interesting. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and support. To those asking, yes, I'm proceeding with the auction. No, I'm not backing down. They made their choice last year. Now I'm making mine. Edit 2. Since people are asking, yes, I have documentation of everything. No, I'm not worried about legal issues. The foreclosure is legitimate, and I'm just another buyer at a public auction. Maya can threaten all she wants, but she's the one who should be worried about legal problems. TLDR. After my family called me worthless and left everything to my sister, their bad investments caught up with them. Now they're losing their house, and I'm going to buy it at auction. Update 2. Hey Reddit. A lot of you have been DMing me for an update, so here it is. Grab your popcorn, because Karma finally showed up, and she's being absolutely ruthless. Quick recap. Parents called me worthless, left everything to my sister, Maya. I walked away and built my own life. Then they lost everything because Maya's schemes backfired. Now they're all living the consequences of their choices. The foreclosure auction was yesterday. Guess who now owns my parents' house? That's right. Mr. the worthless son they kicked to the curb. The look on Maya's face when I walked in and started bidding was priceless. She tried to outbid me but couldn't even come close. Turns out her credit is completely shot, and none of her business contacts would touch her with a 10-foot pole. My parents were there too. Mum started wailing in the middle of the auction. That's our house. You can't do this to us. Dad tried to grab my arm and talk sense into me. I just looked him dead in the eye and said, "Sorry, I'm just a worthless son doing worthless things." The auctioneer had to threaten to call security to get them to back off. Maya cornered me in the parking lot afterward. She was screaming about how I was destroying the family and how Mom was having anxiety attacks because of me. I just pulled out my phone and played the recording from last year's dinner where she laughed while my parents told me I was worthless. She shut up real quick. "Remember when you said I'd never amount to anything, Maya? Look who's living in their car now." That's right. She's been sleeping in her Civic for the past week. Her boyfriend Bronson kicked her out after finding out she'd maxed out his credit cards. All her real estate empire was built on lies and other people's money. And now it's all gone. My parents are living in some crappy one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. Dad tried to play the family card yesterday. Showed up at my office unannounced. "We raised you better than this," he said. I just laughed and asked if he meant the part where they taught me to step on people or the part where they taught me that family means nothing when money's involved. The best part? My girlfriend Autumn works at the bank where Maya had her accounts. Totally legally. She let me know that Maya's been bouncing checks left and right. Her former clients are coming after her for the deposits she mismanaged. She's drowning in debt and legal notices. I hired a property management company to handle the eviction process. They're giving my family 30 days to get out. Maya's been calling me non-stop, leaving voicemails about how they'll be homeless. I just keep forwarding them to my new email folder labeled Karma. Mom showed up at my house last night crying about how they've learned their lesson. She brought my old childhood photos trying to guilt-trip me. I opened the door, took one look at the photos and dumped them in the recycling bin right in front of her. "Should have thought about these memories before you threw me away," I said, and shut the door in her face. "The house? I'm going to renovate it and rent it out. Every month when they drive by and see other people living in their dream home, they'll remember their choices." Maya's already been spotted crying in her car outside the house twice. Autumn thinks I'm being too harsh. Maybe I am. But you know what? They spent years teaching me that I was worthless, that nothing I did would ever be good enough. Now they get to live with the consequences of that lesson. Here's the kicker. I just found out through the grapevine that Maya's been telling people I manipulated and cheated them out of their house. Classic. She still can't accept that her own actions led to this. Dad's apparently drinking heavily, and Mum's posting passive-aggressive Bible quotes on Facebook about ungrateful children. The family's split down the middle. My Aunt Bridget, Mum's sister, called to tell me I'm evil for making my parents homeless. I reminded her about the time she watched Mom throw my college acceptance letter in the trash because trade school is good enough for people like you. She hung up on me. But my cousin Stephen, he showed up with a six-pack and helped me change the locks on the house. Said he's been waiting years for Maya to get what's coming to her. The property management company tells me they'll be out by the end of the month. I'm having security cameras installed tomorrow. Part of me hopes they try something stupid. The other part knows they're too broken to even try. I should feel bad. I know I should. But every time I drive past that house, every time I see Maya's Civic parked outside some cheap motel, every time Mum's number shows up on my phone, I just remember that dinner. I remember them laughing. I remember Maya's smirk. And I smile. Finally update. It's been a wild month since my last update. Figured you all deserve to know how this shit show finally ended. Buckle up. Remember how I mentioned Maya was trying to salvage her reputation? Well, turns out desperation makes people stupid. Last Tuesday, I'm at home watching Netflix with my girlfriend Autumn when my phone starts blowing up. Not just Maya. My parents too. All sending these dramatic, "we need to talk now" messages. I ignored them at first, but then Autumn's scrolling through Instagram and goes, babe, you need to see this." Maya had posted this long tear-jerking story about how her cruel brother was destroying the family, complete with crying selfies and old family photos, tagged me in it. Started this whole hashtag campaign about family reconciliation or some bullshit. The comments were wild. All these people who had no clue what really happened were sending me hate messages. Maya even got some local Facebook mum groups involved. Real classy. But here's where they fucked up. They showed up at my house. All three of them. Maya was filming on her phone, clearly hoping to catch some dramatic confrontation for social media. My dad was doing his whole intimidating stance thing that stopped working on me years ago. Mum was already fake crying. I almost didn't answer the door. But you know what? I was done hiding. I opened it and just stood there blocking the entrance. Maya immediately starts with her script. "We're here to heal our family. Why are you being so cruel? We just want to talk." I looked straight into her phone and said, "Maya, remember that email you sent me last year? The one where you bragged about manipulating mum and dad into signing over their house? The one where you literally wrote they're too stupid to realize what they signed?" I still have that. The phone lowered real quick. Then I turned to my parents. "And that contract you signed with Maya last year? The one she said was just routine paperwork for the house?" I had my lawyer friend look at it. "You didn't just sign over the house. You signed on as guarantors for all her failed investment. That's why your credit is destroyed. That's why you can't even rent a decent place now. Your precious golden child screwed you over, not me." Maya tried to interrupt, but I wasn't done. "You want to talk about family? Okay, let's talk. Let's talk about how I offered to help you fix the roof last year. But you said my construction work wasn't good enough for your precious house. Now you're living in that rundown apartment because Maya's professional contractor friend did such a shit job that the new owners had to gut the whole top floor." My mom started with the real tears now. "We made a mistake. We're your parents. No, you made a series of choices. Every time you chose Maya over me, every time you belittled my work, every time you called me worthless. Those weren't mistakes, they were choices, and now you're living with the consequences." My dad tried to step forward. Bad mood. "I'm not that scrawny kid anymore." 6 years of construction work changes a man. He must have seen something in my eyes because he stepped right back. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "Maya, you're going to delete that Instagram post and all your little hashtag campaign bullshit. Mom, Dad, you're going to stop telling people I abandoned the family, because if you don't, I'll post every screenshot, every email, every legal document showing exactly how Maya played you. Your choice." Maya deleted everything before they even left my driveway. The best part? That house they're so bitter about me buying, just signed the papers to sell it to a lovely young family. Made a nice profit too. Yeah, I could have kept it as a rental, made them watch someone else live in their dream home. But I realized something. I don't need that kind of reminder in my life. Autumn and I are using the money as a down payment on our own place. Something that's never had their toxic energy in it. Something that's just ours. Maya. Last I heard, she's working at a mall kiosk. Parents are still in that crappy apartment. Sometimes karma does its job better than any revenge could. To everyone who followed this saga, thanks for the support. Special thanks to those who messaged me about similar experiences with golden child sibling. You helped me realize I wasn't crazy for cutting them off. Life's pretty good now. Autumn and I are talking about getting married next spring. My business is doing well. And most importantly, I sleep just fine at night knowing I didn't have to destroy them. They did that all on their own. I just refuse to be their safety net. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. RIP my inbox. No, I won't share Maya's Instagram handle. Yes, this is really over. I'm not updating anymore. Time to close this chapter for good. For those asking, yes, I'm done with them permanently. No, I don't care if they become homeless. They made their bed. Stop sending Reddit care messages. I'm not depressed. I'm finally free. Thanks for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more these kinds of story videos.